My good friends from Modern Metal Songwriter have just released a new guitar amp sim, which is called I mess it up all the time, which is called Clairvoyant. And in this video today, I'm going to experiment with it by playing some riffs of my favorite modern metal band, Currents, and the song of choice is Monsters. I apologize in advance for mediocre performance, because I'm still learning how to play the modern side of things in drop E on 7th string. So, without a further ado, let's check out how the Clairvoyant plugin sounds out of the box. Let's go! I'm Dr. Mike Trubetskov, the mad scientist of metal, and I'm here to bring valuable information about modern metal production, recording and mixing, and I share my progress as I learn the modern side of things. Mate, subscribe and like this video to not miss it out. Let's do it! Okay, so I literally opened the plugin out of the box and started tweaking it and recorded the cover straight away. And here are my first impressions after playing with this plugin for about maybe 2 hours or something. Right, let me talk through the initial impressions of the Clairvoyant plugin, which I just used to record some riffs from Currents' Monsters. Please forgive my sloppy playing. I'm still adjusting to the 7th string guitar, so still learning. Hope you appreciate this anyways. But my impressions are the plugin is sick, and you should definitely get it, because here are the advantages. First, it gives instant modern tone. Second, it's easy to use, it's easy to dial in the tone, and I really like the tilt function, which you can make the sound brighter or darker. The cab impulse responses are great, they really fit into the mix easily, and frankly, I don't need to do anything with the plugin. And also the third thing that I liked, it is quite dynamic and it is quite faithful to how a real amp would sound. Now, obviously it's a plugin. It still doesn't sound like my 5150, for instance, or my custom audio amplifiers, but for songwriting and even for mixing purposes, this is just mind-blowingly good. So I highly recommend you to demo it. Cheers! Clairvoyant is flexible. I really liked the flexibility and usability of the parameters that we have. Let's take a sneak peek, right? By any means, I'm not aiming to do a comprehensive review of this plugin. I just want to share my thoughts as a guitarist and a producer in the modern metal genre, applicable to this one. So, what I like about this plugin is it's useful, it's really well set out. You have 3 channels. I used heavy for heavy stuff, mid gain for leads, and I didn't use the cleans here. The parameters are self-explanatory and they're simple to use and they're effective. So if you want more mids, you give mids. If you want less highs, you give less highs, obviously, and you add more gain if you want. There is a gate, there is oversampling, which is also nice. It gives better tone quite clearly. Gate allows you to play clearer, and you know, this is all obvious things that which I'm sure you know of anyways. But what I really appreciated about the Clairvoyant is the tilt function here. If your tone is too crisp, you can make it darker, and vice versa. Combined with the cab impulse responses embedded in the plugin, it gives great deal of flexibility for you to dial in the good tone, and it doesn't take long at all to dial it in. We also have a few pedals here. Obviously a tube screamer, which is engaged by default and it gives tighter tone, but I really also highly appreciated the lo-fi ability, which in my experience is actually quite hard to dial in, the lo-fi tone. But apparently in Clairvoyant it's really straightforward. You just click it and you select the lo-fi mode and it gives you the tone, quite literally. And also the delay is sounding nice. While I still don't think that any amp sim plugin would come super close to a real deal, Clairvoyant is close, and most importantly, it's fast and efficient, and you can get great modern tone right away. For your songwriting purpose, it's a no-brainer, and you definitely should use it if you aim to write music fast, without distractions of getting the tone and losing the momentum of your songwriting. For recording and mixing, I am also sure that this will find a great place in anyone's workflow, myself included. And I'm pretty sure that a more static, less dynamic nature of plugins such as Clairvoyant is great to blend in with the real deal. Because honestly, I struggle to make these less dynamic sometimes, and I have to compress them on the way in quite hard in order to achieve the modern tone. Whereas Clairvoyant and amp sims in general help you to achieve that. So they may serve as a base and the real amps would serve as a top-up layer. Now as a bonus, let's go in and solo my sloppy guitar playing and tweak the settings so that we can see a bit more of what Clairvoyant is capable of, right? I reckon this tilt function is really sick and I haven't seen it elsewhere. It's almost like a tilt EQ, which pushes the highs and tightens the lows, and vice versa. It's super useful, so easy to use. Gain is responsive and it does give quite a dynamic feel. I'm not sure what this enhance does. Let's take a listen together. It's probably a bit of a saturation, which I haven't wrapped my head around yet, but it sounds cool. This obviously tightens in the tone nicely, and the fuzz. I dig this. I dig this a lot. I've not used this in the production yet. This is cool. And then the lo-fi. So you can automate this in the mix and receive really awesome result. I'm digging it. And now the cabs. Let's go through the cabs quickly. Actually, I like this one the most so far. Here's the thing, I'm using my guitar in drop E tuning, and that would be very different from your standard tuning or drop C or whatever. And the impulse response required would be very different as well. So having a vast array of impulses and ability to mix and match them with two engaged at the same time is standard and invaluable at the same time. You cannot live without that. Well, and now it sounds better than my starting point. I may even replace the actual result that I got with this new tone. And by the way, I've not applied any processing at all. It sounds great out of the box, which is surprising, rare, and sick at the same time. So yeah, that's what I think after playing with the plugin for 5 minutes. So, in conclusion, I loved it. It was easy to dial in the tone. I didn't spend much time, great IRs, great usability, great user interface, and overall sick tone. I hope you find it useful. Cheers!